Amigos, hola, Stuart here with a Spain news update, taking a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press here in Spain today. And we'll also take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. Before I begin, a huge thanks to all of the people that have supported this channel in recent times, whether it's by buying me a coffee, whether it's through the super thanks option on YouTube, longer term supporters on Patreon, and the channel members of this YouTube channel. Thank you very much for that support. Straight into the news now, and relations between Spain and giant China seem to be going from strength to strength, but a recent Chinese investment in Spain is causing some security concerns, but the Spanish government is saying no problem and let's go ahead with that investment. As we can read here, Spain is backing Chinese factory in Ferrol despite security concerns. Spain's government is maintaining its support for a planned 200 million Chinese electric vehicle factory in Ferrol, despite security concerns raised by the Defense Ministry and National Intelligence Center. Chinese car maker SAIC Motor plans to build the plant around 5 kilometers from a major Spanish naval arsenal and close to Navantia's military shipyard. Defense and intelligence officials reportedly fear the facility could facilitate Chinese espionage activities. However, the project could generate around 1,000 jobs in an economically struggling region and has strong backing from Galicia's regional government. Final approval from Spain's Council of Ministers is still required. So there we go, some security concerns around that proposed car plant up there in the northwest of Spain in the city of Ferrol, which historically has been a very important city as far as the Spanish Navy is concerned. But as we saw in that article, it seems that the jobs that will be created in that city are more important than those defense concerns. So we'll see how this one goes and whether the approval is granted by the Spanish Council of Ministers. Time will tell. Second piece of news now, and Spain's migration crisis continues to make headlines, and political party Vox is calling for Prime Minister Sanchez to face an investigation over the Ceuta migration crisis. Vox is seeking parliamentary support to invoke Article 102 of Spain's constitution following the mass migrant arrivals in Ceuta. Party leader Santiago Abascal argues Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez and other government members should face investigation over alleged offences, including treason and crimes against state security. Vox claims the government had prior knowledge of the potential mass crossing and has accused it of withholding information and failing to act transparently. The party now wants MPs to initiate a constitutional procedure under which potential criminal responsibility involving a prime minister or government ministers can ultimately be considered by Spain's Supreme Court. So an interesting proposal there from the political party Vox, calling for the investigation to find out exactly what happened in Ceuta and perhaps bring some members of the government before a criminal court. And the word treason is being thrown around by Vox, and let's not forget how serious the word treason is. So we'll see if Vox can get the support in the parliament to make this happen or not. Again, time will tell. Keeping on the subject of immigration, it seems that Italy has found an ally, and together with Denmark, it's calling for tougher EU migration policy and overseas return centres. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen have issued a joint statement rejecting what they describe as uncontrolled immigration into Europe. Despite their differing political backgrounds, the two leaders called for stricter migration policies and proposed establishing return centres in third countries for migrants without permission to remain in Europe. They argued that illegal migration increases pressure on public services and undermines public confidence. The statement comes amid heightened European debate over migration following the Ceuta crisis, which prompted Italy and Spain to introduce temporary reciprocal checks on travellers arriving from each other's countries. So it seems Mr. Sanchez's immigration policies in recent times becoming less and less popular as the days and months go by. We know that Ms. Maloney has been a very severe critic of these policies, and especially what happened in Ceuta recently, but joining together with the Danish Prime Minister there and calling for return centres in third countries. Not sure exactly which countries they have in mind and whether or not the people in those countries would be happy about hosting those return centres. And the final piece of news now, and anyone who lives permanently in a popular Spanish holiday town will be able to relate to this next article, because as we can see, Spanish holiday towns are struggling as summer populations soar. Popular Spanish holiday destinations are facing mounting pressure as summer visitors dramatically increase local populations and stretch public services. Noja in Cantabria has one of the most extreme examples. Its population rises from around 3,000 permanent residents to more than 100,000 people during summer, a 33-fold increase. The influx leaves small councils providing services comparable to those of medium-sized cities, placing pressure on healthcare, water supplies, rubbish collection and parking. Local authorities say careful planning is essential, but unpredictable weather and longer tourism seasons are making staffing, budgeting and maintaining essential services increasingly difficult. And I imagine it must be an absolute nightmare if you are a permanent resident in one of these towns when those summer months arrive, unless of course you own a bar or restaurant, and then you would be rubbing your hands with glee. But for the rest of the local residents, probably a very disruptive time of the year, especially in a place like that one that we saw there, Noja, going from 3,000 to 100,000 in the summer. Wow. Now let's have a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. One here from Darren. Maloney has elections coming up, which tells us a lot. You may have seen that Reform UK have said in the unlikely event they form a government, nobody can drive on UK roads without a UK driving licence. That would kill 50% of imports and the economy. The EU will simply reciprocate and driving holidays or driving for businesses on the continent will be closed off. This is in August for news cycles in the UK. It's known as silly season because there is a lack of real news, and by God, this year is silly. Yeah, Darren, thanks for the comment, and a few other people have also pointed out that Maloney has elections coming up in the future. Not sure exactly when. I think it's 2027, but let's remember that Pedro Sanchez also has to call elections in 2027, if not sooner. And no doubt it is one of the reasons why Ms. Maloney is pushing so hard on this Ceuta migration crisis. Obviously, immigration, especially illegal immigration, at the centre of Ms. Maloney's policies. And when things like the Ceuta migration crisis happen, certain political parties jump all over it. And as far as the other thing that you mentioned in your comment there, would that apply for temporary visitors in the UK as well? For example, people like me that don't have a British driver's license going there on holiday, would I not be able to hire a car and drive? Or is it only for people living and working in the UK that haven't got around to getting a UK driver's license yet? I don't know. Let me know in that comment section below, because if it is what you mentioned there, Darren, it's a very radical policy, that is for sure. One here from Just Stopping. I live in a town with a large population of Moroccan families. It is a lovely town. I love living here, and as an immigrant myself, I'm grateful to live in Spain. Hope you and the family are having a lovely time in Portugal, Stu. Yeah, Just Stopping, thanks for the comment, and yes, having a lovely time in Portugal, even though it has been a hotter than normal summer here. And as far as the other thing that you mentioned there is concerned, living in a town with a large Moroccan community and enjoying your life there, I'm sure that there are lots of people watching these videos in the same situation, living in towns that do have a big immigrant population, whether it's people from Morocco or other countries, and not causing any problems at all. I imagine that is the case, and especially as far as the Moroccan community is concerned in Spain, because it is one of the biggest foreign communities in the country. But as we know and have seen in recent times, there's always going to be a few people out there that want to stir up trouble and say that certain immigrant groups are causing problems in Spain. One here from Fran. When I first moved to Spain in Torrevieja 19 years ago, I had a huge umbrella that had a sort of reflective aluminium protector. I used it walking about in the sun, also when I was at the pool for shade. People must have thought I was crazy, but it seemed not so, as eventually it turned out to be a good idea. Yeah, Fran, thanks for the comment, and we spoke about this the other day on the channel. More and more people in Spain seem to be walking around in the summer months with umbrellas, protecting themselves from the sun, and probably a very, very good idea if you don't want to have skin problems further down the track. Because let's be honest about this, the Spanish sun can be very, very harsh indeed. So we all need to be as sun smart as we can, especially during those peak hours in the middle of the day. And the final comment here from Alicia, it's true. We were in Soto Grande 10 days ago to buy real estate. After experiencing the Almeria fire and the hot weather, which is beyond our expectations, we cancelled the process to buy real estate. Yeah, Alicia, thanks for the comment, and sorry to see that you didn't go through with that real estate purchase in Soto Grande down there in the south of Spain, a beautiful part of the country, but as you mentioned there, too hot for you guys. And this comment, of course, was left on a video that I put out the other day about another person in Spain that is also considering moving because for her it's too hot, and she's worried about all of the fires that have been burning in Spain over the last few years as well. So she's decided to pack up and move to Portugal, of all places. On that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. If you have anything to add to the conversation today, I'd love to hear it in that comment section below. Please give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss a video when I publish it. Until the next one, hasta luego, and have a great day.